Hey, y'all. On today's podcast, we help Brad overcome fears and obstacles while scaling his business.
Welcome to the Flip Lifestyle Podcast, where life always comes before work. We're your hosts, Shane and Jocelyn Sams. We're a real family that figured out how to make our entire living online. And now, we help other families do the same. Are you ready to flip your life? All right, let's get started. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Flip Lifestyle Podcast. It is great to be back with you again today. Super excited to talk to another member of the Flip Your Life community and help them take their business and their life to the next level. We've got an awesome guest today, Flip Your Life community member, Brad Gray. And I didn't even try to rhyme that. It just happened. So, Brad, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Hey, Brad. We are excited to talk to you today. You have some really interesting things going on in your business, and I think that our listeners are going to love it. So let's dive right in. Tell us a little bit about you, your background, and what you are doing online.
All right. To start, I'm a husband and a father of three. I actually have three kids that are two daughters, basically, age 7 and a 4-month-old now, I guess. Yeah.
Whoa. That's a busy house right there.
Yeah, you're not kidding. And also a 2-year-old son who is, they have those terrible twos. So we got all that going on and a dog running around. So it's definitely busy. It's definitely a challenge to find that time. But I was able to kind of figure out ways to build that time with the help of you all, kind of segmenting out the schedules and whatnot. I'm still a practicing biology/science teacher, pretty much whatever they ask me to teach. I've been pursuing online business since about 2012 when I made a product, and I put it on Teachers Pay Teachers, and I started to blog a little bit, just anything I could do really to make some extra money when we had my first child. And every once in a while I'd get this little ding, a sale. And it was like this bug that just kept telling me, hey, you need to be doing something else with this. Like
it's like a virus.
That went on for years. And I just kept ignoring it. Like, it's only a couple bucks here, a couple bucks there. But then I came across your article in Forbes right about the same time I was finishing up my master's degree in curriculum and instruction. And it was kind of like a perfect storm. I was finishing up and I knew I didn't want to be an administrator. I wanted to just kind of dive in and write curriculum.
And I have to stop you here because in your form that you filled out, it says, I knew what I needed to do, and I consumed what I suspect was at least 150 podcasts and even listened to some several times.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You got the full Netflix binge listen of the Flip Lifestyle.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I used to love going to mow the lawn because I could get a couple of episodes in.
That is awesome. I love that.
We need to put that in all of our sales copy. We even make mowing the yard fun. That's what we need.
Yeah. Tough to make that fun, but it was my only opportunity to really get out there and listen to you guys. And, I listened to some of them several times just, to help kind of provide that motivation. Every once in a while, you just need that kick in the butt. And just listening to certain episodes helps with that for sure. It helps keeping you going. And listening to No Sugar Shane telling us what's up helps keep us going,
Absolutely. So you were listening to the podcast and you decided that you needed to get this thing onto your own website. And then you decided to invest in yourself and become a member of our community. So tell us a little bit about that journey.
Yeah. So, I had a WordPress.org site or WordPress.com site. So I kind of rolled that over and then kind of built it up from there. So I did have a couple of blog followers, 75 to be exact. And that I converted over to an email list. But really what the challenge was is just finding time, finding the motivation. So I kind of took your advice early in your community. You have a breakdown of, how to manage your time. And basically I just charted out exactly what I needed to do. And basically looked at the end goal and mapped out what I needed to do to accomplish each day in order to meet that end goal of being able to launch a full curriculum in whatever it was, like 6 or 9 months out. So just kind of sitting down and mapping that all out was extremely helpful, and having a goal each and every single day to accomplish, to make it all happen.
And what's amazing is, like, you know, we actually talked about when we were structuring the Flip Your Life Blueprint, like what's the order you need to do things in? Because, you know, like everybody out there is like, do your sales funnel, write your email list and all this. And our background is busy working parents who are raising children. Like, when are we ever going to find time to build a business? And as we were structuring the Flip Your Life Blueprint and we were putting it in order, we were kind of like, the first thing you have to do is get your calendar under control. Because if you don't, you're never going to have time to build all these things that the gurus say you have to have, right? So we actually did, like, the second or third course is time management. Look, got to fill this out. You got to do this. It's not sexy. It's kind of boring. And it takes a lot of discipline. But if you don't do this part, then none of the other stuff, it's like a meta skill, right? Like, it magnifies all of the other things that are happening. And it's funny, you kind of snuck up on us in the community, Brad. Like, when I saw your success story, I was like, who is this guy? Right? Because I was like, Brad Gray. And you posted in the success forums, I have 136 members. And we're like,
what?
Where did that come from? Like, because usually we're like, okay, we see someone make the lead magnet. We see someone make the product. We see someone do this. But you just like dropped this 100+ member bomb into the success forums one day, and everybody started chiming in. And I'm actually I don't always read the success post, but I want to read a part of yours because it's amazing. So I click on the link, I go in, and it says, hey, I'm Brad Gray. I am a lurker, period. Like, it just says that, like, right? That's how you start the whole thing.
I love it, Brad.
Like,
you're my people.
You're Jocelyn's people. And that's why we were like, okay, who is this guy? And it says, I tend not to share much. Today, as a result of listening to the most recent member calls and buying a ticket to Flip Your Life Live, I wanted to share a huge success I've had in this community. You go through and say, I learned about the Forbes article. I wasn't a member for a long time, but then I got started, got momentum. And then I did a member account today, and I have 136 members. I have almost replaced my income from my full-time job. It has been truly life-changing. I can't thank S&J enough in the community. Now it's time to level up, replace my income, and get to my dream level. And then you say, I have found 136. I can find 1,000. And I was like, what? I was like, it's just amazing to hear someone like, you know, I'm sure you've got other posts in here, but I'm like, this is basically your first success post that's like really getting into detail. And it's just like, hey, by the way, I almost replaced my income. Right. And, but that's so awesome because we forget, like, 80% of people are lurkers. And, like, it's okay to lurk. It's okay to sit in the back. It's okay not to be talking about every single thing and asking a question every day, as long as you're taking action and actually building your business. And you've been doing that, man. So congratulations on all that success, dude. That's incredible.
Thank you so much. You know, it's work. You know, I'm a lurker mostly because there was no time. There's no time. There was no time to dwell in the community. I had work to do and a very tight schedule. So just getting focused, that's kind of what's kept me from being an overactive member in the community. But
we actually find that a lot, though. Like,
I get what I need, and it was good. You know, that check in and being able to have someone to go to when you need help and you need it fast. It's truly awesome.
I mean, that's okay, though, because we actually find that happens. A lot of people will, at the very beginning of their journey, get into the community and use it as a resource. Okay, I got to watch this video. I got to take action. I got to jump in the forums real quick and ask a question. And what happens that we see a lot in the cycle of people coming through the membership is once you get to that 100, 150, 200 member level, that's when you jump in and you celebrate. That's when you jump in and start, well, wait, I'm going to chime in here. I've been through that. And you get that circle of people succeeding and helping. And it creates this awesome feedback loop inside the community where you're getting what you're needing, you're helping other people get what they need, and everybody is kind of like moving forward and growing together, right?
Absolutely. It's just truly incredible how much activity you guys have been able to generate within that community. It's just everybody's there to support each other. really great.
Yeah, I can't wait till you actually get to the live event, dude, and you meet everybody and deepen those relationships. And then you come back and you're like, oh my gosh, like that's not just a picture in the forums. That's not just a person's name anymore. That's the person I ate lunch with, right? That's the person I sat by at the mastermind group. That's the person I jump on a Zoom call with every week now. And it becomes like so much more real.
Okay, Brad. So you've had a really exciting journey so far, but a lot of our listeners, they can't really quite relate to this yet. Maybe they're still coming up with their idea. Maybe they're just getting started. So let's kind of take it back just a little bit to when you were getting started doing your own thing, meaning like your own website, having your own membership. What was something that was kind of hard for you that you were able to overcome in those early days?
Like, what was your biggest challenge besides time when you first started out?
I think for me, it was just believing that it was going to work. I read the Forbes article and I felt good and great about it. And I followed your stories and I saw other stories. And there's always just this doubt that am I doing the right thing? Am I investing this time in the right way when I could really be spending more time with my family? But making those time investments early on, for me, they paid off. But it was tough to kind of pull back and convince myself that what I was doing is going to work, and also convince my wife that this is actually a good use of my time.
Sure.
This getting the support all around was one of the biggest challenges that I had. When I was going through this, because I would even ask for babysitters so I could stay on track and meet my weekly goals of putting out content and building the curriculum. So it's not just my wife supporting me, but even grandparents supporting, just to kind of help with the kids. So there's a lot of investment there, and you just got to believe. And it ends up working out.
It's hard in the beginning. A lot of times people will come to us and they'll say that, Jocelyn always says, well, that's great for you. It worked for you, but I don't know if that will work for me. Right. Like that's one of the common things that we hear and see all the time. And when you were talking about your story there, it's not necessarily just the belief in yourself. Most people, once they get into their content and they start creating these things, the belief in the self and the actual knowledge and the actual expertise kind of pours out of you, right? But for the first 6 months, you don't get feedback. Like you don't get, surveys and listeners and purchasers. Like there's no reward. And sometimes it feels like you're digging a ditch and filling it back up. And then you're digging a ditch and then you're filling it back up, right? And it's Absolutely. And you just, until you get to the tipping point, which could be 6-9 months, down the road. I mean, we didn't quit our job, for 13 months, right? It took us about a year. And then in the 13th month, we quit our job before we even were close. And that was still after sacrificing, selling our house, getting our bills down to an acceptable level where we thought we could take the risk. Like we did a lot of stuff within that. But you don't feel that feedback for months and months and months. And there are a lot of days and long nights where you're going to bed saying, man, is all this worth it? Is this going to pay off? And you know what? I'll tell you what the honest answer is. The honest answer is you never know. Like you kept going and you get to the point, and we know if we work as hard as we can and never give up, that something's going to come of it, right? But, I think the lack of belief comes from that there's no guarantees. You're just doing this work and you're just waiting for some kind of like positive feedback.
Yeah. And I think that like sometimes people think that, oh, well, this person, they don't support me or they don't support my dreams. It's not really from a place of, I guess, anger or hostility or anything like that. It's just from a place of the unknown. Like that's really hard for a lot of people. It's really hard for me. I don't like not knowing what's going to happen next. So, I don't think that your wife or anyone else was coming at it like, oh, I don't support you because you're a loser or whatever. It's more just because they don't know. They don't know what's going to happen. And, that's hard for a lot of people.
Is your wife on board now? But she's on board now.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. She's on board now.
You just got to prove it. Like, that's the thing is like, and Jocelyn, even to this day, like I'll come up with some harebrained idea, which is at least like every 3 hours. And she just looks at me and she's like, prove it. Like prove it. Like, if that's possible, prove it. Right. And but then you got it always. I'm actually about to teach a new training tonight for the Flip Your Life community, for Flip Your Life Live members. Each week, we do a training for Flip Your Life Live attendees to get them ready. Right. And we're talking about these phases that entrepreneurs go through in their life. Like, you figure out something, you yearn for more, then you learn about it, and then you go earn it. And then, and then you just keep burning it up until it makes it happen. But what's funny about being an entrepreneur and being a business owner is you go through these cycles and they keep resetting. So like we're going to talk about this in a little bit. You're at this stage now where you've reached this point and you've kind of went through that first cycle where you wanted something, you put in the work and you weren't seeing anything. You didn't believe it was possible and you had to keep going anyway. And then it happened and now you see what's possible, but the next level is an even higher mountain and it kind of starts over, right? You got
absolutely.
You just keep resetting the process. And that's something that we've really been stressing to people lately is, people will say like, well, I'm scared. I just I just don't know if I believe this is possible for me. And we're kind of like, that never goes away. Like, if you want in the game, if you want to be self-employed, if you want to stay self-employed, if you want to make money online, you want to work from home, you want to be location independent and snapping the Instagram pictures on the vacation that you've never been on before, right? Like, you've got to get in the game and that fear stays and that uncertainty stays and that hustle stays and everything just keeps like going on and on forever. But, once you cross the line, it's worth it.
The only certainty is that if you do nothing, nothing will happen.
Right. That's exactly right. And you've done a lot. And I love your story too, because I am a lurker. Nobody knows I've been in here all this time, incognito, making things happen. Right. But like, you made it happen. You were doing it and you look like an overnight success, but like, people don't realize there was a moment where you didn't believe. There was a moment where you had to keep going. There was a disagreement with your wife on whether you should do it. And like, am I, doing the right thing? I remember specifically when Anna Jo was really little, when we started out, there were many nights when we were grinding and I was like, man, I'm losing an hour today that I could be playing with her, or I'm losing an hour today that I could be playing with Isaac. Right. But now, I just spent 2.5 hours with my kids homeschooling them. Cool. Right. Like I spent the hour then to get the 2.5 hours back today. And that's really where the investment comes from. That's what overcoming the belief, the lack of belief, the fears and all that comes in is, hey, do it a little bit now so you can have a lot more later.
Okay, Brad, let's jump a little bit forward to today. Let's talk about what's going on as far as your mindset or what types of fears are holding you back right now.
All right. So currently I'm at about, I think 143. I checked right before this call in terms of members. My goal by the end of the year is to get to 500. So right now, I guess I'm just kind of stuck. I know that there's like my current strategies for growth aren't going to get me to that 500 mark. Just knowing my numbers and knowing how quickly I build up my list. So I guess I'm just kind of stuck in terms of how to get to that 500 number, what strategies I need to do in order to get there. I've done a webinar, so in my house with my 3 children, I really struggle to find time to kind of have that quiet time to really be able to run a webinar from my house. Again, that could be a mindset issue. I know I was able to do it once. I could probably do it more. But it is a challenge. So that's one aspect that's kind of that I feel as though it's kind of holding me back and just not knowing what direction to go. Like Shane was mentioning before, you kind of reached this point where you've made it over the first mountain, and now I feel like I'm at the bottom of the other mountain, and I'm not sure which direction to go to get to the top. I also feel like my niche, I get concerned that maybe my niche is a little bit too small to get to my dream number or my end of year number of 500. I know there's about 50,000 biology teachers in the U.S. and I have about 5,000 on my list. So getting to that 50,000, I pretty much need every single biology teacher in the country to kind of hit the goal that I want to hit.
Well, let's work backwards here. We'll go back to the time thing. Let's talk about that size of the niche problem first. Okay. You have a hyper targeted niche, and anybody with a hyper targeted niche is going to be able to convert a lot more of their list, right, than someone who's like in a really, really broad niche, because the people that join your email list or join your thing, like, they are biology teachers. It's not like I'm passing interest in email marketing or I'm passing interest in painting pictures, so I join some artist email list to learn how to paint more, right? It's not a hobby. Like, that is their career. They are this. They need it. They want it. That's why they're in. Okay. So it's not above and beyond the expectation to say you could easily convert 10% of your list, which is 5,000 emails, to 500 people. Like, that is not like rare air for a hyper targeted niche. Like, when every single human being that joins is pretty much a biology teacher or teaching biology in some way, it's just a matter of giving them more opportunities to buy. Like, you can get 500 from the 5,000 people that have already found you. Okay.
All right.
And we see that over and over and over again. So don't let that limiting belief, or, sometimes we hear like these statistics. Like, we usually throw out general things like, like the 5% rule. Like, okay, if you have 1 million people listening, 5% might opt in, and 5% of them, might open your email, then 5% might buy, whatever. It just keeps going, right? Like, we throw that out there as a baseline, but it's not the truth in every single niche. Like, your niche is hyper targeted. So the goal there is focus on those 5,000 and figure out why 136 have joined. Where are the other 464 or whatever it is, right? Like that, or 364. Like, figure that out. Focus on marketing to them. If you can increasing conversions is 100 times easier than increasing traffic and opt-ins. So let's just get more of those people out. That is 100% possible.
And I would just say too, like, that one size doesn't fit all. Like, you have to remember that whatever your goal is, so the reason that you're wanting 500 members, I presume, is to hit a specific income goal, right?
Yes, I think that's an appropriate amount for me to be able to have more flexibility and get my desire to quit my job.
Right. And just remember that there are other ways to reach that goal. And one way is to retain more people. Another way is to increase your price. There may be other ways of doing it, like selling one-off products. Like, there are other things that you can do. So don't feel like you're totally constrained by, I must fit this exact mold.
Yeah. A simple price increase could bring the number down to 400. Right? Like, you just do the math and you're like, well, wait a minute, it might be easier to get 400 people. So what would the price point be to get that and reach the same financial goal? Okay. So don't get pigeonholed into yourself thinking your niche is small. I'm telling you right now, guys, if you've got 50,000 people doing something, 500 will pay for it. Right? So you've just got to be able to increase those conversions, do more to give them more opportunities to buy, and get more involved in the increasing conversions is way more important than increasing traffic. Our list is not huge. Like, Jocelyn and I don't put a lot of effort into like huge ad campaigns and traffic and things like that, because we convert podcast listeners into email subscribers, into members really, really well. Like, we do it at a high clip. So it's, our business has grown something now like 18, 19 months in a row with very little ad spend, because we focus a lot on giving people opportunities to join our membership. We say it every week on our podcast. I PS it on every email I send out. And like, we just focus on converting more people, and that's going to produce a lot more income. It doesn't mean that other stuff's not important, but if you start thinking and trying to do the math, oh, well, there's only so many of these people in the world, I can't get there. Your brain's going to subconsciously believe that, and you won't get there. Right?
Absolutely. I really like your ideas with just changing things up a little bit in terms of mindset, like selling a one-off product to my list, or just working on retention. Definitely something.
So just think outside the box a little bit, like you can figure out other ways to make this happen, but don't get distracted by a lot of unnecessary things. As far as like what to do next, I mean, you already have an offer that's clearly converting. So I think the next step for you is really probably just finding more people. So I would concentrate maybe on some advertising. The good thing about the education space is that it's really easy to advertise and fairly inexpensively because there aren't a lot of people doing it.
And like finding more people means from your list, right? Like there's probably right now 200 more people that will instantly buy your product. They don't know it's there. So you can upload your list and advertise to those people. You can go in and just advertise straight to your email list about your members. They've already signed up.
A price increase is a great way to do it.
Yeah.
To shake people out who maybe wanted to join, but they didn't for whatever reason. Oh, well, by the way, I'm getting ready to do a price increase.
We're raising prices next year, but you can lock it in now. You got 72 hours to do it. Send that out to your list, and you just shake the apple tree. Like that's how you find more people for your membership, is in this audience that you already control, right? There's other things you can do, like on Teachers Pay Teachers. Like I know you've got individual lesson plans uploaded there, correct?
Yes.
So the strategy here for everybody listening at home is I have a core product that I sell on my own website, but then I find a third-party marketplace to go sell my products individually to get discovered, to make extra money. Like it's a great strategy to boost your income. Okay. But like, my lesson plans in Teachers Pay Teachers are structured to make sure they know that there is a ushistoryteachers.com. Like there's a copyright with my domain on the bottom of every paper. The last slide of every single slide deck and any PowerPoint that I sell on Teachers Pay Teachers is a sales page for the membership, right? Like, so I've kind of injected sales copy and these things in there to make sure that anyone who buys any resource knows there's another step. There's another place to go get these things to build memberships, right? So just a little bit of strategy. I mean, you could probably go out and get 10, 20% more members like right now. And then with a little more application, you can get in front of the people you already have that already know about you. And let's just convert, let's get to 300 members out of that list, like as soon as possible before we ever go to the big task of you created the biggest mountain possible. You said this earlier, I have to get every human that's in my niche on my email list by the end of the year. Like that's not going to happen. Right? But like when we create these ghosts and these demons that we have to fight, like it does become oppressive. It does become very hard, right, to actually do those things. So the better thing is to say, well, wait a minute, what do I already have available, and what am I not doing to maximize that? And that's what we need to do in your case too.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I love some of the ideas that you shared there. Price increases or always get people to jump ship. Always. Every single time. It's crazy to see. Kind of in line with what you mentioned, I think a good transition would be, I was kind of talking or tossing around in my brain the idea of introducing another curriculum, because a lot of teachers at the high school level teach multiple subjects, and another one might be, for me, environmental science. So I was thinking about, I think it would be relevant to my current list as well. So I was just curious what your thoughts were on kind of doing that, because I know you're always like hit the nail on the head. So I was just curious if you think that would be advisable to kind of invest time into creating that, or just keep building the current curriculum that I have.
I would not do that yet, because you've got so much more potential on this email list that you've already got that you haven't even tapped into yet. Like there's at least enough people there to get to 250, right? And it's going to be so much easier to just get really consistent and prolific marketing what you already have to people who are already interested than to hope that they want more and move heaven and earth to create this thing. This is the knee-jerk reaction to, most people when they hit a plateau is, I got to create something new. This thing's not working as good as it was anymore because whatever. But really, it's just you haven't kind of squeezed that rag dry yet, right? And if you just put your effort into that for maybe another year, and really zero in and laser dial in on focusing what you already have, it's a lot lower energy. It's a lot easier. And you're going to get to a higher point where then maybe you can go hire some support to create the new thing instead of you doing all the work by yourself. Right. I created most of the trainings in the Flip Your Life Blueprint that exists the way it does now. Was that in 2016 or 15?
15.
15. So in February of 2015, I sat down and said to myself, what are the most evergreen concepts that everyone has to know to even have a chance to succeed? Like if a family comes in, they want to change their future, they need to know exactly what are the steps to get there, right? The steps that will always exist, like create an idea, get an avatar, go out and create a product, market your product. How do you market that? How do you use advertising? How do you do these things? How do you build recurring revenue? How do you do all that? How do you research to make sure your idea will actually make money in the marketplace? And I wrote all these things down. I started looking through it, and I took out some of the tactical stuff that was really like, well, this is how Lead Pages works today, but then they change it in 6 months. We threw that out. We said, what are the core evergreen principles that you have to do to make this work? And I created all that in 1 month. I created like 30 or 40 courses in 1 month. I only now update videos when members specifically need them. Does that make sense? So like I'm doing a training tonight that's going to be really, really important for the Flip Your Life Live attendees. And it's a course that we've been meaning to add. We're just kind of adding on top. We're just a little sprinkle on top of the cupcake, right? But we're adding these courses as we go. We don't move heaven and earth every like 5 years, right? Our main goal is to say, hey, we've created this amazing thing that we know works. We've seen, hundreds and hundreds of people like start their business, quit their job, do all these crazy things with it. We just need to tell more people about that. That's it. That's our job. Tell more people, spread the word, get the message out. And that's what your job is like right now. That's what you like have to do. And this actually goes back to that first question you asked about, well, I'm having trouble getting this webinar done. I got a lot of kids, the kids are in the house. Got to find a time when they're quiet and, for my audience and stuff like that. Like, I feel you're bucking up against a wall and you really need to just juggernaut through the wall right now because none of that matters. Like you've been to our member calls and you've seen us in our community. Our kids are eating bags of chicken in the background. There's dogs. Like my dog has a sledgehammer on her head. And if we lock our doors, she just keeps ramming it until it opens because she wants to get to us. And you've never seen anything perfect from us. And then like that includes on our webinars, right? We were doing a webinar one night and like this like pack of dogs was like barking outside or something. Like this was a sales webinar, but it sold just as many as anything else, right? So do you want to get in a quiet room? Yeah, but you don't have to worry about the kids being asleep. You don't have to worry about background noise. Nobody cares. Like I read this awesome thing the other day that like it said, you're so busy worrying about like when you go to a party, you're so busy worrying about what you look like and stressed out and anxious. But the thing is, everybody else is so worried about what they look like, they don't even look at you because they're just worried about themselves. And like the person that shows up at your webinar, they're not there for you. They are they're kind of there for what they're really there for is, how can this make my life better? That's what they're there for. They're not 90% of their attention is on you, not the baby crying in 2 rooms away. You know what I'm saying?
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, man. So it's just like, just do it. Like we've done it. I did where was I doing that Facebook? I did a Facebook Live the other day for the, on our Flip Lifestyle page. I was in the kitchen. Our assistant was here and she was cleaning and like doing something in the kitchen, like unloading groceries or something. Jocelyn was talking to her. The kids were walking around playing with the dogs and watching a TV show in the living room. And I didn't even use a microphone. I just turned it on and I needed to do that video. I needed to do it right then. It was to promote something. So I just did it. And not one person said, man, could you tell everyone in the background to be a little quieter? No, they were like focused on what I was talking about. And like, you just got to do it. You just got to do it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's perfect. You'll make so much money someday. You can go buy an office. You can go get a loan and have a quiet room that's soundproof. Right. But like, right now, you just got to kill it. You just got to crush it. You got to be consistent. You got to be prolific and you got to be relentless. And I always throw that one in because you can't let stuff like that hold you back. Okay.
You're definitely right. Just hear no sugar, Shane. Tell it how it is really what I needed right now. help me kind of break through this wall here.
Yep.
I do that from time to time, except to Jocelyn, because she tells me how it is. And then I got to like back off because, Jocelyn's, it's no sugar Jocelyn in our house.
I'm a pretty scary individual. Okay. So I think we have some good ideas as far as like mindset and, just getting ready to go into this next phase of growth. So with that in mind, what question do you have for us that we can help you with as you enter this next phase?
So I guess what specific growth strategies do you or members in the community seem to be getting the most success with right now?
For us, and it's promoting live type webinars, like live events. Like it's the easiest funnel to create to get to consistently work. I mean, you basically advertise or promote the webinar, right? So you would email your list and maybe start an ad with your uploaded list. Like again, let's just target those 5,000 people until we get everybody that we can in the membership. So every week, same webinar, post it. They go and they register. Some of them show up, you pitch and they buy, and you do it again and again and again and again and again, because 90% of people on your list won't show up for this webinar this week. So let's go back and get those 90% to maybe come next week, and then maybe the next week, and then maybe the next week. And doing them live really does make a difference because you're there. They see you're real. You're calling them by name. And when you ask them to join, it's like inviting them over. Okay. You also then, they raise their hand that said they wanted more information. The hottest people on your list, you have 3 or 4 follow-ups to pitch them afterwards just via email automated, right? So there's nice automation to it. It really only takes a couple hours a week to be able to set up. And it's just the easiest way to grow your business. It really, really is. Now, when you get more advanced, you can do things like evergreen webinars where people go to watch an on-demand training. Okay. So you kind of sell it like Netflix at that point. But like, if you really want to go to 100 to 500 people, do 52 webinars in a row relentlessly and watch your business grow. It will happen. It can't not happen when you're constantly doing the work like that, right? So for teachers, like your niche is specifically to teachers, you would think about their calendar and you would say, hey, these people are off on Sundays and they're probably dreading work on Monday because they've been at the AAU basketball league or the cheerleading or the dance or the baseball park all weekend, right? They've been doing all these other things with their family and stuff. It's Sunday. They don't have a lesson for Monday. Hey, come and do a free, call it a professional development, right? Speak the language of your people. Talk about a topic to get them through that leads to the pitch of, hey, never, get in here, get this curriculum, teach your students. They'll improve. You'll improve. You don't have to be planning lessons all the time. Like you can go sell it to them and, hey, maybe 20 show up every Sunday, right? Maybe you get 20 people on your entire list to show up on every Sunday night. But if you do that, 20 people times 52 weeks in the year, right? That's 1,040 teachers, 1,040 people in your niche from your list that would show up and hear you give this speech every single week for 52 weeks in a row. And if you can convert 20% of those, right, you would have 208 more members just like that.
This is a really effective thing to do right before the beginning of school. So I would wait until sort of summer is winding down. So maybe like mid-July to late July type time. And that's when people are really starting to be like, oh, brother, school is getting ready to start. I haven't done anything this summer. I need to get with it. And I've always had a lot of success doing education-related trainings right before school is going to start.
Because we're playing that calendar, right? So if you started this on July 15th and you went every week of the school year, and what you do then is you just kind of maybe give it a little flavor. You don't have to change the webinar, but you can give it a little flavor, like, maybe certain things are taught in biology in September. Certain things are taught in November. Like you can kind of give it a little flavor to make it more like relevant with your subject lines and stuff. Right. But it's basically the same thing. It's basically like, this is how to do this. And you can have like a couple webinars if you wanted to do like 2 or 3 and rotate them. That's a powerful strategy. If you can ever get to 3 or 4 webinars that you rotate and they're all relevant to your list and you're just constantly every month hitting your list, right? Then you just grind it out, man. And you will get more than 20 people a webinar, right? Like 50 people are probably going to show up. If 50 people show up to every webinar. Now you've got 408 or 400 and something new members, which gets you to your goal, 500 members, right? So the moral of the story is this is probably the best thing that's working right now. And you got to roll up your sleeves and you got to do it, right? You just got to roll up your sleeves and make it happen. But once you get in a rhythm, it becomes easy. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Like anything else. No, I really like the idea of webinars. Now, I've been thinking about them a lot, obviously. So one thing I like is even if people are not showing up, they're at least seeing that you're hosting one. So I think it ups your credibility at least a little bit.
You're top of mind.
Top of mind as well. I also like, you made a light bulb go off in my head when you said, I have 5,000 people on my list, but you've said it before over and over again, not everybody's seeing all of your emails, and kind of retargeting those people in different ways. Even though I'm sending those emails, I can look at my stats and I know that not everybody's responding to the emails, but I have the ability to retarget them in other ways too.
You have to plan all your stuff out to support each other. Like, every Saturday or most Saturdays, I send out like a little newsletter to our email list, and it has it's all the stuff that we did that week. Like if I did a YouTube video, I'd put it in there. If we had a cool Facebook post, we do a prayer thread every Sunday. If you're not on over following us on Facebook, you can go to fliplifestyle.com/Facebook or facebook.com/fliplifestyle. We do a prayer thread every week, and if our community needs prayer, like we pray for every one of them. We go through, and Jocelyn and I read all those, and it's just something we do, but we promote that in our email list because you want everything to be a big circle. If you're on my email list, I also want you over on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, I'd like to have you on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, why don't you follow us on Instagram? Because we want as many places to reach you as possible. Flip Your Life Live attendees, we have a special exclusive Facebook group for them that's outside of the membership. Why do we do that? Well, if I'm doing a training, I need to be able to post it in the Facebook group, send you an email, and I'll go post it inside of the community. So I know I got 3 chances to hit you instead of 1, right? And I'm telling you, you got to contact your people every day. I don't know if it's on social. I try to do it on email every day. Like, you got to contact people constantly. If they unsubscribe, let them go. They weren't going to buy anyway. But you've got to you can't just say, well, we're doing our monthly sale, now we're going to have a business. Nope, we're going to sell daily to our list, daily in our ads, weekly on these webinars, and daily we're going to promote it. And if you do that, you can't help but succeed over time. Not everybody will do it. There's a lot of people listening right now. You're shaking your head. You're driving in your car down the freeway. You're stuck in traffic. You're on the treadmill. You're sitting there right now going, man, yeah, that's what I got to do. But not everybody's going to do it. The people that do it are the people that get to 500 members, that get to quit their job, that get to replace their income, that get that, trade that 1 hour now to get that 3 hours back later with their kids and their spouse. And, you've proven time and time again, you're the guy that's going to do it. You just got to do it, man.
Absolutely.
All right, Brad, it has been a lot of fun talking to you. I know that you are an awesome action taker, so I cannot wait to see what happens next in your journey. But before we go, I just want to ask you what we ask most people on the podcast is what you plan to work on in the next 24 hours or so based on what we talked about here today.
I think it's going to have to be just buckling down and starting to schedule out some webinars. I purchased EverWebinar and Webinar Jam a long time ago, and I've used it once. It's kind of sad. So I have the tools to do the job. I just need to buckle down and just really start hammering through some webinars and maybe create a couple of others to go along with the ones I already have, so I can mix it up a little bit and just squeezing my list and trying to hit them in a lot of different directions in terms of just being top of mind and making sure they know I have a product for sale.
Yeah, man, don't be shy. That list exists for one reason, to buy your stuff, right? That's why you created it. So go out and get it. Don't be afraid to ask your list for money. That's why it's there, right? That's like not asking an apple tree for an apple. That don't make no sense. What's growing on the apple tree? Apples. They taste good. Like, you're not just going to sit and watch them. Like, man, I'd love an apple today, but I only pick apples on Mondays, right? Like, no, you walk over to the tree and grab an apple. That's what you got to do to your list all the time. All right. Well, listen, Brad, man, that was an awesome chat. Thank you so much, man, for being on the show today. Thank you for being an amazing member. And thank you for shining the light on the lurkers, because there's a lot of lurkers taking massive action in the Flip Your Life community. We see you. We know you're there, guys. We know you're doing it. And not everybody's going to be up and just talking about all the stuff they're doing all the time. But, man, you've done a lot of great things. I have no doubt that you will do many great things in the future. And I also have no doubt that what you shared today is going to help a lot of people listening right now to take action and change their family's future too. So thanks again for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate all that you guys have done and are doing.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in today. What an amazing chat with Brad. He's doing great things in his business, and we expect you to take what you learned today and take action and go out there and grow your business so you can change your family's future as well. Before we wrap up, we want to leave you some wisdom from the Bible. Jocelyn and I get a lot of our information, a lot of our inspiration from the Bible. There's a lot of great Bible verses that are directly related to building and growing businesses. Today's Bible verse comes from Romans 8, verse 18, and it says, I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. Listen, guys, whatever you got to do, whatever you got to suffer through, whatever you got to go through right now to build your business, to change your family's future, it's going to be worth it. And it will not even compare to what you're going to see on the other end of this journey. All the things that Brad went through in the beginning don't even compare to where he is right now or where he's going to go. All the things that we suffered through when we started our online business don't even compare to the amazing life that we have built today. So whatever you are doing, whatever you are grinding through, whether it's trying to find that idea, building your product, getting that WordPress website set up so that you can build a membership and build recurring revenue, it's hard. It is going to be difficult. You're not going to see the rewards right away. But all of that will not even compare to what your family's future is going to look like. All right, guys, that is all the time that we have today. We would love to have you inside of the Flip Your Life community. You can join Brad in there. It doesn't matter if you're a lurker. Doesn't matter if you're a question answerer or an actor or a question asker. Whatever you are, we want you in the community right where you're at. So go to flippedlifestyle.com/flipyourlife, and you can learn all about the amazing training, forums, community, and resources that we have inside. And if you would love to meet Brad and meet me and Jocelyn at Flip Your Life Live 2019, go to flippedlifestyle.com/live, and we would love to see you there. That's all the time we've got for this week, guys. Until next time, get out there, take action, and do whatever it takes to flip your life. We'll see you then. All right, man. All right, take 3. Here we go. All right, guys, that wraps up another awesome chat.
You got to start it again because I was just making noise.
Come on, man. What are we doing here? All right. We're pros, Brad. 3, 2, 1. All right, Grise. I keep saying Grise. You got me tongue-tied now. Oh, geez. It's going to be some good B-roll.